This is the AD20.5 by Demko Knives, and it is the first full production knife from Andrew Demko et al. Under their own shingle. That isn't a production knife. So this is a production version of the vaunted AD20, slimmed down, shortened a little bit, and made over in Taiwan. Demko Knives. It's made with AUS 10A steel, or AUS 10 for those of you who are going to jump down my throat, in Wampum, PA. And it's an awesome, awesome EDC knife. There's my 2 cents. Video over. Just kidding. But you've seen a ton of videos on this knife, and yes, it is worth the hype, I believe, especially coming in at 125 bucks or so. They've bottled magic with this thing because the AD20 is an exceptional knife and very hard to come by. I mean, they make them and they get sold out immediately. At Blade Show this year, they brought a bunch of custom AD20s, and people were literally running to the booth, like full sprint to the booth when the doors opened in the morning to get their hands on the full customs. And man, if you got a full tie custom, you're just, I don't know. You rode there on a magic carpet or something. It's pretty amazing. This knife, of course, is built around the new Shark Lock, new meaning newest innovation by Andrew Demko, a master of knife locks. He's created some of the industry's most, stout and interesting. These are cold steels. This is the Triad lock, the strongest lock in the business. It's a lock back that uses a stop pin between the spring and the blade, and a deep trench in there that the tab locks into, that will break in over time and get stronger and stouter. So he is innovative locks are his thing. Here's also a cold steel, his Scorpion lock on the AD15. Also very strong, and is a lock in a similar vein to the frame lock, in that just holding it and squeezing it, reinforces the strength of the lock, which is already super strong. So this one, pull back the tab on top. It removes a sort of wedge-like structure that notches into the tang or notches over the tang and releases it. This is on bearings, unlike his other designs. I should say his other production designs, like with cold steel. I'm not sure, frankly, if the AD15 or the AD10 ever got bearings from his shop anyway. But this just has an amazing action to it. It's a very, very stout and strong spring. And on this AD20.5, even though it's made of GRN, or glass reinforced nylon as handles, it's got full steel liners. There's the patent number. And even though it's so thin, it is so sturdy and stout. It feels like one piece when it's open. I don't know if I mentioned this because I'm tired, but I got this for my brother at Blade Show. So this is his birthday present coming up in August. And before then, I'm going to paw it and break it in for him. Well, no, I won't. I will keep it somewhat pristine, even though I've been showing it off on the podcast and doing so right here. It's like the perfect EDC size. You've got a 1, 2, 3 1/4 inch blade, which is many people's sort of wheelhouse for EDC. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inch handle with the 50-50 choil happening here. Sort of a 50, I guess it's more of a 50-20 choil. But anyway, you got a spot up there you can put your forefinger in if you want to come up and work with the knife like that. But you also have this grip back here, this main grip, a saber grip using the lock itself as a thumb ramp. And also, like most Andrew Demko designed knives, when you release the lock, the tang will stop on your finger, so you can make it a one-handed, even though it's not a liner lock or a frame lock, it's a one-handed lock, in that you can drop it like that, or naturally you can use the lock itself to open and close it. The shark lock makes a great sound, and that is a thing, you know? I mean, that is a consideration. The sound of a knife is part of the appeal, just like the action, and it makes this clickety clackety sound that reminds me a little bit of a racking shotgun or something like that. So this has made in Taiwan, as I mentioned. You know, Taiwan is an area known for having some really amazing knife manufacturers. A lot of people, myself included, think that the best Spyderco knives are the ones that come out of their Taichung, Taiwan factory. Nicely centered. Opening hole, really excellent jimping on top of that blade that runs all the way to the break of the clip. Comes in two different blade shapes. It comes in the shark's foot, which is a sheep's foot, sort of an angled sheep's foot, and it comes in this beautiful clip point. I was kind of going back and forth. I knew I was only going to buy one because I had spent quite a bit of money on other things at Blade Show, and my own AD20.5 will have to wait, and when I get it, it will be the shark's foot, because I already have an AD20 with the clip point blade. So I figured, you know, I should expand and have a variety. But that's a moot point right now because I'm not getting one for myself for a little while here. Got other fish to fry. But man, it's gonna be hard to package this up and give it to my bro. It's so nice and thin. This would be an excellent back pocket knife if you like to carry knives in your back pocket. Even a drop in your pocket without the clip kind of knife. Put a little fob on there. It would stay oriented north to south in your pocket, and it's just so nice and thin, and yet strong. All right, let me show it to you with. This is the AD20. Bigger and heavier in every way. Put it that way. This is in 20 CV, I believe. Yeah, this is in 20 CV. Can't remember where he marked it. It's very lightly marked. I think right down in there somewhere. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 20 CV, you've got these giant, thick slabs of G10, unreinforced by liners, which makes it, you know, keeps the weight down. But as it is, it's a chunky boy here. Nice and thick, nice and weighty, girthy. And this blade steel, this blade stock is nice and thick too. The weight of the blade really adds to that. If you notice, with this, I have to whip it in a little bit using my wrist. With this, just the weight of the blade and the ball bearings kind of bring it in. Demko Knives, love that pivot. Wampum PA, showing some PA pride there. This version, of course, does not have the speed hole or the hole in the blade. I had the choice. Lavender Pants 86 sent me a text when he was at River's Edge Cutlery, and they had 6 of these, and he sent me a text saying, "I know you've been looking for one. Here's your chance. Choose what you want, and I'll buy it for you, and you can pay me back." Thank you again, Lavender Pants. There will be no end to thanking you for that opportunity. But I chose one without the hole in the blade. To me, the hole in the blade throws off the visual blade to handle ratio, because that's really important. But I guess that lightens up the blade a little bit. And let's see, can you use it? I guess you can use it to open the Spidey flick the blade, which is not a bad feature. But yeah, so one thing I want to mention about the shark lock before I go into size comparisons with other knives, is that when I first saw this, I was like, ooh, that's gonna get in the way, you know, but it doesn't. It's magically placed. It's perfectly placed, let me put it that way. So if you use your knives a lot like this, which I do, obviously it's not an issue. If you're up here, not an issue. If you're back here, if you're in a saber grip like this, it only adds to your grip as a thumb ramp. If you're using it like this, because you're really horsing through some material, you don't feel it. I guess the only time you feel it is if you have your finger up here in the choil and you're squeezing really hard like this. You feel it, but I think you would have to do quite a bit of work for quite some time for it to actually bother you. It's so low profile. And here, I'll show it. Since this is about the AD20.5, I'll show you here. And, well, you can see how low profile. And it's rounded off, and not for nothing, it's jimped perfectly. Perfectly. Not only for retracting and using the lock, but also as a thumb ramp. It's just, everything about this knife is just spot on. These guys know what they're doing. Andrew Demko really knows what he's doing. His brother John is great running the business. I mean, this is a new venture for them, and this knife is emblematic of their new venture. You know, they're no longer with Cold Steel, and they are doing everything on their own, and it's Demko Knives, period. And man, they're killing it. They're doing such a great job, and it's in no short, what am I trying to say? A lot of that credit goes to John, Andrew's brother, who's helping with the business, not just helping with the business, running the business, you know, with Andrew. Andrew, of course, is the genius behind the blades, and John is the man helping make it happen, like in a big way. I'm going to be talking to him on the podcast sometime soon, end of June. I'll be recording it, and then it'll be coming out sometime in July. But I had a couple of really nice conversations with him at Blade Show, and they're just two stand-up guys, I gotta say. And then the other couple of folks that were working at their table, who I assume work with them back home, were also great. Just some really, really good people making some superior knives. All right, so there it is with the original AD20, or the full size. I'm just gonna say the AD20. I'm gonna show you a couple of others. Let's see, we'll do the other Demkos. There it is, dwarfed by the AD15. And there it is with the AD10. This one gets a lot of work. I use this one outside a bit. Also a great knife. Probably my least favorite of the three in terms of, well, look, feel, fidgetability, all of that. But just a real standby, trusty knife here. Let me show you the AD20.5 with a couple of other great knives. Here it is with the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. A great EDC work knife and a great thing to compare with in terms of size. Here it is with the TRM Atom, and I'm making this comparison because they're both nice and thin. They both have a real nice thin profile. So if that's your thing, if you like a real thin carry, you know, because you don't want too much bulkiness in your pocket, great knife, and very robust. So thin and robust is a nice and somewhat rare combination. Here it is with another favorite of my 3.25 inch blades. This is the Yojimbo 2, and you can see it's about the same length. Of course, it's got a different sort of profile. Here it is with the American Blade Works Model 1 version 5. Also kind of the same length, same sort of, well, size and that kind of thing, but a little bit thicker. Also made by a super stand-up guy. And let's see here. Last two I'll show you with are some of the premium gods of the knife world. Here it is with the Sebenza 21, such an awesome knife. doesn't get enough play here in my collection because I got some flashier stuff, I guess. But a great knife. And here it is with a slightly larger XM18 with the Spanto blade reground by Razor Edge Cutlery. Razor Edge Knives, sorry. What a beautiful picture. All right, so anyway, let me get these out of the way, bring this back up and show it to you one last time. If you have any doubts, if you're sitting on the fence, don't. It's really a spectacular knife. And if this gray GRN is not your thing, I've seen people have already colored it, you know, presumably with RIT dye, and that looks cool too. So the AD20.5 is a great knife, a great follow-on to the AD20, and man, what an excellent debut for the full production Demko Knives. Life, here it is. All right, everybody, thanks for watching.